This year, the impacts of climate change have been clear for all to see. Now, nowhere is this more real than in the Rotorua Lake communities of Rotomā and Rotoehu. Record rainfall is leading to the lakes filling to near capacity and communities being cut off. Now residents are asking what lies ahead if the lakes were to overflow. Mea nei te purongo, a John Boynton.
They're the jewels of Te Arawa.
I grew up on these lakes. It recharges me when I come back here.
But after record rainfall, these lakes are reaching a tipping point.
What can we do, you know? It's just Mother Nature.
Communities are underwater and access is being cut off. Is it time to let nature run its course?
I don't think that we can continuously engineer our way out of climate change.
Tucked in between Lake Rotomā and Lake Rotoehu lie the Waitangi soda springs.
This is a very important place for us in terms of rejuvenating our bodies, our souls and our minds, but also as a place for wānanga.
This is what these natural hot springs normally look like. But they've been forced to close due to inundation of water from the lake.
How long's it been like this for?
Approximately 4 months, I think since about February this year, we've had to have the baths closed. We haven't been able to use it, but Ranginui and Papatūānuku have spoken.
This year, major weather events have dominated news headlines.
Wāhitapu across Te Matua Maui submerged in sludge, drowned by the deluge caused by Tropical Cyclone Gabrielle.
And the Rotorua Lakes region hasn't escaped the force of Ranginui and Papatūānuku either, already having received its yearly average rainfall. Lake Rotomā is at its highest level since 1971, severely impacting homes and businesses.
In today's world, we tend to purchase a property and that's our kingdom forever. The environment may be changing that much. We need to be a lot more adaptable.
The lake doesn't have outlets like rivers to divert water, so it just keeps getting higher and higher. It only needs to rise another half a metre to overflow into neighbouring Lake Rotoehu. But Rotoehu is at full capacity, already flooding homes and roads.
This situation is a good wake-up call, not just for us here, but I think across the nation, around understanding the fact that climate change is real and it's now on our doorsteps, literally.
The Lake Rotoehu settlement of Ōtautu Bay is among those having to adapt to these changes. Ngāti Pikiao Uri Robin Skerritt has lived here for 25 years.
My tupuna lived here. It is special to me. I'm lucky to have my home here.
You feel them around you?
Yes, my guardians, my kaitiaki.
But at the moment, there's very little protection from the rising waters of Lake Rotoehu, with homes and roads slowly being swamped.
I've been cut off from my family because of the floods. You know, I can't get through to them.
With Ōtautu Bay residents' main road underwater, this is as far as they can come. And with lake levels being so high throughout the region, is there a threat that other communities are going to be cut off as well?
What used to be a 5-minute drive to the main local highway now takes an hour through windy gravel back roads.
We've got 3 men who used to have a half-hour drive to get to work and now have to drive for 2 hours to get to work, 2 hours to come back, when the groundwater starts coming.
Today, Robin is meeting with locals who are worried about the future of their community.
I've lived here since 1979 and one's always just adjusted and adjusted.
But some whānau are already having to move.
They are leaving our valley because they really can't go on with not having a solution for their children in the schooling.
There are a number of local councils, authorities and iwi groups charged with fixing roads, infrastructure and reconnecting communities. But no timeframes have been given so far. Arapeta Tahana says one of the solutions is using evaporation.
Essentially, big machines that suck up the water and evaporate it.
Another option is redirecting water.
People have touted the idea of running a pipe and sending it over to a major river. From a mana whenua perspective, we're not that keen on major engineering solutions.
It would be foolish to think that we can just carve out big parcels of land to drain a lake, because we're just going to make that problem someone else's problem further down the catchment.
Te Rotorua Lakes Trust biosecurity manager Wiremu Anaru works to protect the well-being of the lakes. He says while there are devastating impacts from the high water levels, he's seeing the positive benefits for the environment.
We've seen an impact on the aquatic pest weeds. These weeds can only grow down to a certain depth and they're slowly starting to retreat away, which means some of that habitat for our koura and our taonga species is being reclaimed.
There's also been a reduction in major lake pests like catfish.
Our catch for this season is around about 11,000 catfish that we've caught, and compared to previous years, it's really, really down. Not much in that one. We seem to think that the depth and the temperature change from that depth has had an impact on their breeding.
Wiremu thinks these events are an opportunity to look at how we manage our waterways.
There's so many political challenges around fixing our waterways, but at the end of the day, this is just a taonga that keeps us all alive, and that needs to be the driving force around why we actually look after it.
Back in Ototsu Bay, the community is facing an uncertain future.
This garage is flooded with about 14 inches of water right through the garage floor.
But it's bringing locals together and igniting their fighting spirit.
We're interacting with each other and it's enjoyable to know that we have that community spirit here to look after one another. We have to keep it up.
The Rotorua Lakes Council says Lake Rotomā has not overflowed since records began 70 years ago, and as summer gets closer, it is unlikely to happen this year. It says any predictions on what would happen if it did overflow are simply speculation.